Former FBI lawyer Kevin Clinesmith will plead guilty to making a false charge. It's the first criminal case from U.S. Attorney John Durham's review of the investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. And it's big news, right? Sure it is. But the story was barely covered by the mainstream media. Take a look at this. 0 seconds on CNN tonight. Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, same thing. NBC Nightly News, 0. CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell, just 22 seconds. ABC World News Tonight, 26 seconds. Unbelievable. This morning on Fox and Friends, former House Oversight Committee Chair Trey Gowdy slammed the networks.
Comey and the Democrats and the D.C. media belittled us for looking into FISA abuse. They belittled us, and lo and behold, Michael Horowitz finds 24 instances of misconduct, and now we have an indictment and a supposed guilty plea. So that's why they didn't cover it. It doesn't fit their narrative.
Let's talk about that with Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn from the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator, thanks very much. You know, the mainstream media spent 3 years telling the American people that Trump had colluded with Russia to steal the election. Now that the lie has been exposed, they barely cover it. And the New York Times, which won a Pulitzer Prize for its constant front-page reporting that Trump was a Russian asset, what did they do with the Clinesmith story? They buried it at the bottom of page 16. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that they have a narrative. They're not going to let anybody shake their narrative. Look at how they acted when Sally Yates came to us for our second oversight hearing. And she said FBI went rogue. She would not have signed those warrants if she knew now, or she knew then what she knows now. And the third thing was, she said if somebody knowingly gave false information, altered documents, that they should face accountability, consequences, lose their job, go to jail. So they didn't cover any of that. And of course, now that the first person is being held to account and is being indicted, they're not about to cover that. But whether it was Rod Rosenstein or Sally Yates, they're saying they knew nothing. But this indictment will help us to begin to unravel exactly what was happening and who knew what and when did they know it within the FBI, because I can guarantee you Kevin Clinesmith did not do this and nobody else know what he had done. His supervisor, his co-worker, somebody knew.
Well, what about the guy who signed the FISA warrant, James Comey? He signed 3 of them, actually. And Comey, as we know through the indictment of Clinesmith, was told by the CIA 2 months before he signed that first warrant that Carter Page was actually a U.S. asset for the CIA. And Carter Page, as I mentioned again, wrote Comey personally and said, I'm working for the CIA. Don't you want to hear from James Comey under oath?
Indeed we do, especially since Sally Yates says he went rogue. Now, here's the thing, Greg, and you've written about this, and it's a part of the conversation. You have the January 5th office meeting notes. You have Sally Yates saying she was in the dark. Rod Rosenstein says he was in the dark. James Comey was a part of that meeting. Somebody cooked up a plot. Somebody gave the order to carry out the plot. Somebody did the dirty work. So getting Kevin Clinesmith, who did this, was he in the line of command with James Comey? We need to call James Comey in and have him say, did he have Kevin Clinesmith do this, or was he on the receiving end of it? Somebody's not telling the truth here, and we're going to begin to get through it through the work of General Durham.
But you know Comey is going to play deaf, dumb, and blind. He always does. You know, oh, gee, I don't remember anything. Clinesmith, though, I think may be the key. You know, he may squeal. He may be the rat. Do you suspect he has a cooperation agreement to help Durham?
I would think from the comments from his attorney that he may have some type of agreement. I do not know. I have not had conversations that are a part of this. We will be left to the oversight. I hope we get to bring James Comey in September because he was a part of the January 5th meeting. We have people at the FBI and in the DOJ that seemed to know what was going on, even though Rod Rosenstein and Sally Yates claimed that they had no awareness and never heard any conversation. You know, and it seems impossible that that could have happened.
All right, quick question before I go, because Christopher Wray, the current FBI director, he's been FBI director for 2 years. Don't you want to hear from him? Because it was on his watch in 2018 that he told your colleagues on the Intel Committee that the dossier was credible, Christopher Steele was reliable, when the FBI well knew that was completely untrue. It appears your colleagues were lied to, and the last time I checked the federal statute, that's a crime.
Well, it is a crime, and Christopher Wray should appear, and he should come bearing a full load of documents that he has been sitting on, if you will, requests for documents that have been made. So yes, indeed, he should come. McCabe should come, because this was all carried out by the Obama DOJ, the Obama FBI. It was carried out with the taxpayer dollar. And we have to get to the bottom of this. When you talk about why do people not trust our institutions, look at what has happened. They were spying. The FBI was spying on U.S. citizens without any reason. They knew there was no reason to spy.
Well, Christopher Wray has a lot of answering to do because he covered it up. He buried it in the tomb of unknown classified documents in the bowels of the J. Edgar Hoover building, and I hope you get him under oath. Senator Blackburn, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Coming up next, Joe Biden avoiding Sunday show appearances, but he is speaking to rapper Cardi B.